Good evening and welcome to tonight's recognition program. I'm Dennis Peterson, Superintendent of Minnetonka Schools. We begin each regular school board meeting recognizing the outstanding accomplishments of students, staff, and community members for their positive impact on our district. Tonight we are recognizing amazing achievements in academics, extracurriculars, the arts, and excellence in teaching. The National Center for Women and Information Technology offers an annual awards program to recognize students for their technology interests, skills, and accomplishments. This year, 2 Minnetonka High School juniors have been honored at the state level with Minnesota Aspirations in Computing Awards. The honor recognizes these students' academic excellence, leadership, and future goals with regard to computing and technology. Congratulations to the following students for their achievements: Soloni Soamia and Katrina Trin. Nick Barr, a computer science instructor at Minnetonka High School and a Minnetonka student, will tell us more about these awards.
Hi, my name is Nick Barr. I'm a computer science teacher at Minnetonka High School and also the head coach advisor for the robotics team. I wanted to, again, take time to give praise and credit to Katrina Trin for recently winning the 2022 Affiliate Award for Aspirations in Computing. It's a pretty awesome award to win. There's almost 4,000 students who apply in the state of Minnesota, and only a couple hundred do take home the award themselves, so this is very cool. I know Katrina through her work with the robotics team. She's extremely helpful in regards to basically anything she can get her hands on. And she did a lot of work this year with some of the physical aspects of our robot, as well as some of the outreach and community work. So, again, I just want to say congratulations, Katriana, and good job on everything you've done this year, and keep up the hard work. Soloni Samaya, she recently won the 2022 Affiliate Award for Aspirations in Computing. If you know Soloni at all, she's an incredibly gifted and personal person who is involved in tons of different clubs and organizations around campus, and just an absolute joy to have in class as a student, and also as, like I said, a member of some of the clubs that I run, one of them being Computer Science Club. So, again, if you've worked with Soloni or know her, worked with her, everyone would agree she's helpful, kind, humorous, hardworking, and just a joy to be around. So it's my honor to, again, give praise and credit to Soloni for this award.
Hi, my name is Katrina Trin, and I'm a junior in the class of 2023. It's an honor to be awarded as an NC-WIT state winner because the organization promotes and highlights women who are STEM leaders in their community. This program has allowed me to showcase my interest in STEM and motivates me to continue growing my skills and pursue a degree in technology. Thank you.
This year, 4 Minnetonka High School students have earned high marks on the National German exam. The exam is administered each year to more than 20,000 high school students and serves as a benchmark of German language knowledge. Now, Angela Fairbrother, a German instructor at Minnetonka High School and a Minnetonka student, will share more about the exam.
Hi, my name is Angela Fairbrother, and I'm a German teacher at Minnetonka High School. Each year, German students take the AATG National German exam to show how their language skills compare with others in the country. This year, 4 Minnetonka High School students scored exceptionally well on the exam, earning 2 bronze awards, a silver award, and a gold award, which places them in the top of all national test takers. Congratulations to each of you, William, Leonardo, Savannah, and Erwin or Winnie. We are incredibly proud of your hard work and dedication to learning the German language.
Hello, my name is Leonardo George-Ranrad, and I am a 12th grader. I became a high scorer on the AATG National German exam. First looking at the practice test, though, I was completely lost. However, this drove me to find more appropriate techniques, giving me much better results in the end. Recognizing my improvement when I finished became the most impactful moment. This is because it reinforced that I can always improve, humbling me. If anything, I take pride in this realization. Thank you.
Congratulations to the following students for their achievements on the National German exam: Leonardo Granrud, Silver Award; Savannah Larson, Bronze Award; Erwin Van Santen, Bronze Award; and William Walker, Gold Award, and 97th percentile. 16 seniors from the Minnetonka Swimming and Diving Program have been selected for the National Interscholastic Swimming Coaches Association All-America Academic Team. Only 2% of high school seniors who participate in swimming and diving are recognized as All-Americans, and so to have so many from our district is an incredible accomplishment on the part of our student athletes. Now we will hear from a student athlete about the season.
Hi, I'm Vivian Van Holland, and I am a senior for the Girls Swim and Dive team. One of the most impactful moments for me of this activity was seeing the team come back together in the fall of 2021. You know, with the whole COVID and shutdowns, we didn't have a typical year like most events did, but in that season when we first started, it was as if nothing had really happened. You know, we just picked right back up where we were. The drive was still there, the atmosphere, the team atmosphere, just the friendships. It was really impactful to see how closely knit we were and how we were able to get through a global pandemic as if nothing really separated us. And what am I most proud of the team? I would say how much we were able to accomplish this year, you know, being true team state champions, late conference champions, being undefeated. I am proud to say I was a part of that, and I contributed to the legacy that the 2021 Girls Swim and Dive team had and is going to have and be remembered for many years to come. I'm really proud to say I was a part of that.
Congratulations to the following students for their exceptional academic and athletic endeavors: Addie Diaz, Lucas Edwards, Lauren Fedor, Abby Forsmark, Maya Kankas, Allison Cook, Vic Kurup, Meredith Lauer, Ryan McGurk, Reagan Miller, Luke Patefield, Henry Rosenhagen, Audrey Sotantu, Vivian Van Holland, Quincy Wheeler, and Carson Whitty. Congratulations also to Minnetonka Aquatics Director John Bradley, who coaches the varsity boys and girls swimming and diving teams. Every spring, the Minnesota Academy of Sciences hosts the State Science and Engineering Fair. Students from across the state compete at regional science fairs for the opportunity to share their projects at the state level. This year, 37 Minnetonka research students qualified to represent Minnetonka at the State Science and Engineering Fair. Last month, the Minnetonka Research State Qualifiers gathered virtually to recognize their accomplishment at state.
Researchers, thank you so much for joining us today as we recognize your qualification for the 2022 State Science and Engineering Fair. This is a prestigious achievement that recognizes not only the curiosity, effort, dedication, and care you've demonstrated this year to pursue answers for your scientific inquiries, but also your ability to communicate clearly about complex topics with a wide range of audiences. Before we name each of you individually, we would like to share some statistics about the success you achieved this year.
Combined, you earned 19 awards at the Twin Cities Regional Science Fair and 19 awards at the state competition. We also had one student qualify as a finalist and 7 as alternates for the 2022 International Science and Engineering Fair, the highest number in school history. Congratulations to the following student for being named a 2022 ISEF finalist: Krish Inba Rajashankar. Additionally, congratulations to the following students who were named 2022 ISEF alternates: Katriana Trin, Maxwell Mavius, Isabel Stroh, Tyler Clare, Quinn Hughes, Mahmoud Saeed, and Kayla Fung.
We will now read the names of our MHS Minnesota State Science and Engineering Fair qualifiers. When I read your name, please give a wave. Noah Anderson, Madison Andrews, Nicholas Carver, Ava Chen, Ethan Chen, Lucas Edwards, Yusuf Aldashari, Kayla Fung, Quinn Gorgon, Tristan Green, Nicole Haraway, Abby Hoekstra, Claire Huang, Sana Ikramuddin, Jackson Jaffe, Grace Kong, Che Lee, Walker Liu, Gavin Lukic, Maxwell Mavius, Calais Mickelson, Kiefer Miskew, Merlin Morton, Valerie Nelson, Aaliyah Peterson, Krish Imba Rajashankar, Mahmood Saeed, Saloni Somia, Scott Sorensen, Isabel Stroh, Julia Terrell, Zara Thomas, Katriana Trin, Ross Volkov, Alexandra Wagner, April Wang, and Jack Wary.
Additionally, 2 other Minnetonka High School freshmen and 1 8th grader from Minnetonka Middle School East qualified for the fair independently. Tyler Clare and Quinn Hughes qualified with a joint project in biology. At the state fair, they earned the opportunity to compete at the National Junior Science and Humanities Symposium, and they were also named as alternates to the International Science and Engineering Fair. Milan Darji earned a middle school level Seagate Rising Star Award for his project researching a new clinical assessment tool for heart failure patients. Milan shared a video with more detail about his project.
My name is Milan Darty and I'm an 8th grader. I created a web app to assess the severity of heart failure and entered it into the science fair. I won the Seagate Rising Star Award, Minnesota's highest award for middle school science projects, and 7 other awards. This project's impact is that it makes assessing heart failure easier and more accessible for patients and medical staff. I am proud to represent Minnetonka as my project advances in the National Science Fair, the Broadcom Masters.
Congratulations to all of our state science and engineering fair qualifiers for your outstanding efforts. This year, Minnetonka High School had 1 student qualify for the Minnesota State Speech Tournament. Congratulations to senior Arya Dev for achieving this opportunity. Arya went on to place 3rd in state in the discussion category. Congratulations, Arya. Let's hear more about the speech team season.
The Minnetonka speech team had a great season in extemporaneous reading, domestic and international extemporaneous speaking, and most notably in the discussion category of Minnesota speech. In discussion, students from all over the state compete by demonstrating outstanding collaboration and communication skills. They develop real-world solutions to social and political scenarios, and our captain Jin Bang placed top 5 at sections, along with our other senior captain Arya Dev, who advanced on to the state championship and placed 3rd in this extremely competitive event. Way to go, and congrats to them both.
The speech team is coached by Carissa Hayden and Lisa Lewis. Minnetonka High School's Knowledge Bowl team placed 5th at this year's state competition. Knowledge Bowl is an extracurricular activity that tests students' acumen in a wide variety of academic subjects, from math and science to history and literature. Congratulations to the following Knowledge Bowl team members: John Holmgren, Krish Imba Raja Shankar, Gautam Venkatesh, and Jerry Zhang. We will now recognize a group of our elementary student artists. Each year, our art teachers select pieces to display at the Minnetonka Schools District Service Center. This is one way we celebrate the work of our students and our commitment to a fine arts education. Starting in April, the works on display are from students at Minnetonka's 6 elementary schools. These pieces will be on display throughout the summer as well. Student artists, thank you for sharing your work with us. Your artistic talent and creativity brightens the District Service Center. We would also like to thank and recognize our elementary art teachers for their work to encourage and inspire our community. Minnetonka's elementary art teachers will be introducing the honored artists this evening. They include Christy Nugent from Clear Springs Elementary, Reed Anderson from Deep Haven Elementary, Catherine Friends from Excelsior Elementary, Jane Meyer from Groveland Elementary, Kyle McDonald from Groveland Elementary, Melanie Monzingo from Minnewaska Elementary, and Jennifer Bend from Scenic Heights Elementary. Our art teachers will now read the names of each student artist as their works are displayed.
the Minnetonka School Board, school community, and especially our student artists and their families who are watching this evening. We're so incredibly proud of you, and we're excited to celebrate with you tonight, along with the beautiful artwork that you've created. From drawing and sculpture to painting and mixed media collage, you've used a wide variety of techniques and mediums to add beauty to our schools. Thank you for all of your effort, joy, collaboration, and creativity you show every single day. We will celebrate now by showing images of your artwork as we read your names. Your names will be read by your art teachers. Mrs. Nugent from Clear Springs Elementary will get us started.
Our honored artists are Wyatt England, kindergarten, Brooklyn Watercott, kindergarten, Eve Scharback, first grade, Daniela Villavicencio, second grade, Tor Tofty, second grade, Elsie Katterheinrich, second grade, Mia Chavez Landquist, fourth grade, Lily Manos, fourth grade, Yamna Ali, fourth grade, Yusra Abdi, fourth grade, Eliana Ruby, fifth grade, Bradley Branand, fifth grade, Shelley Zhao, fifth grade.
I'm Reed Anderson, art teacher at Deep Haven Elementary. Our honored artists this spring include Nikolai Hubner, kindergarten, Martin Jones, kindergarten, Joseph Kazmarchik, second grade, Eli Wildung, second grade, Amalia Garcia, second grade, Ellie Gianforte, second grade, Amalia Kuha, third grade, Hazel Campbell, third grade, Emma Hounshell, fourth grade.
Hi, I'm Katie Friends, art teacher at Excelsior Elementary. Our honored artists include Tommy Wallstrom, kindergarten, Gabby Hendrickson, second grade, Kyler Berkman, third grade, Madison Skapiak, third grade, Lainey Dvorak, third grade, Violet Almendinger, third grade, River Piper, third grade, Coraline Hanson, fourth grade, Rylan Dale, fifth grade, Gabby Goodkind, fifth grade, Mina Sievert, fifth grade, Mela Broche, fifth grade, and Benji Sharp, fifth grade.
Hello, I'm Jane Meyer, art teacher at Groveland. Our honored artists this year include Cassie Schlichting, kindergarten, James Cummings, kindergarten, Natalie Horner, first grade, Brody Benowitz, first grade, Mila Arlt, second grade, Graham Nelson, second grade, Addie Mulder, third grade, Vivian Nelson, third grade, Finn Severson, third grade, Elise Wormerskirchen, fourth grade.
My name is Kyle McDonald. I'm another art teacher at Groveland. The honored artists are Joseph Rick, fourth grade, Kate Zierden, fourth grade, Ruby Ayez, fourth grade, Elliot Steffel, fourth grade, Beatrice Travanti, fourth grade, Gavin Pelstring, fourth grade.
Hi, I'm Melanie Mozingo, art teacher at Minnetonka Elementary, and these are our honored students. William Dahlhoff, kindergarten, Nora Mielhaus, kindergarten, Sawyer Steiner, kindergarten, Hazel Torney, kindergarten, Lawson Hastings, kindergarten, Ingrid Rowath, kindergarten, Isla Scanlon, kindergarten, Alyssa Lakuma, kindergarten, Maya Lang, kindergarten, Rainey Pentecook, kindergarten, Kayla Rogers, first grade, Nora Strand, first grade, Jocelyn Hookride, first grade, Clementine Ba, first grade, Astrid Torgerson, first grade, Hadley Stevens, first grade, Isla Wassam, first grade, Alexis Peck, fourth grade, Amelia Nelson, fourth grade, Levi Lutz, fourth grade, Elena Tomlin, fourth grade, Finley Lawrence, fourth grade, Vasana Miller, 4th grade, Julian Hoff, 4th grade, Oliver Smith, 4th grade, Asher Anderson, 4th grade, and Donovan Fahey, 4th grade.
I'm Jennifer Bend, and I teach art at Scenic Heights Elementary. Scenic's honored artists from my classes include Gwyneth Moffett, kindergarten, Eleanor Polario, kindergarten, Levi Dubrowski, 1st grade, Piper George, 1st grade, Riker Johnson, 1st grade, Ewan Saliards, 1st grade, Elizabeth Winteroff, 1st grade, Charlotte Siebert, 2nd grade, Charlotte Wilsford, 2nd grade, William Bouge, 3rd grade, Gabriel Gao, 3rd grade, Sophia Nugent, 3rd grade, Penelope Roberts, 3rd grade, Beatrice Brubaker, 4th grade, Audrey Fletcher, 4th grade, Emma Luthra, 4th grade, Dominic Schubert, 5th grade, and Daniel Chung, 5th grade.
Artists, once again, we just want to say congratulations to you on being selected for this amazing honor, this art show, this exhibition. You are incredible, and your work shows as such. Keep on creating, and just know that what you do makes a difference. Thank you again.
Thank you, teachers, and thank you again to all of our student artists for sharing your talents with us this spring. Minnetonka Schools is proud to recognize 3 staff members who have become National Board Certified Teachers in 2022. To earn this distinction, each teacher completed a rigorous application and testing process facilitated by the National Board of Professional Teaching Standards. National Board Certification is a voluntary advanced certification that allows teachers to demonstrate excellence in teaching within their content areas. We'll now hear from some of this year's National Board Certified Teachers.
Hello, my name is Alex Johnson, and one of the most challenging parts of the National Board certification process was doing such an extensive self-evaluation of my teaching. For example, the 3rd component, I had to videotape myself teaching a couple times, and watching that and being a sort of student in my classroom was a humbling experience and really helpful as I continued to work at being a better and better teacher. Through the process, I learned how to work better with the students and the parents in my community, as well as the colleagues in the school and in my office. I'm humbled to have the certification, and it's been really rewarding to work with some of my colleagues who are also working on the same certification. Thank you.
The following teachers have earned National Board Certification: Jennifer Mateka, science teacher at Minnetonka Middle School West; Alex Johnson, math teacher at Minnetonka High School; Jana Ani, Spanish teacher at Minnetonka High School. Congratulations to each of you for reaching this professional milestone. That concludes our recognition program this evening. Thank you for joining us. The school board meeting will begin shortly.
Good evening. I'd like to call the May 5th, 2022 Minnetonka School Board meeting to order. Let's all rise and say the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. Before we adopt the agenda, just note that there is a carry-in action to the board tonight that we will get to later. So can I have a motion to adopt tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Lisa?
Second.
Katie, second. Changes or additions? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We have an agenda. Our first report is the school report from Minnetonka High School. Dr. Pearson.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, as you know, Minnetonka High School always brings you a great report, and Mr. Erickson's here tonight. I think he has some help giving the presentation. So, Mr. Erickson, I'll turn it over to you.
Great. Mr. Chair, Dr. Peterson, members of the board, it's great to be here tonight and to share some of the highlights that have been happening this year. And the photo you see is from August. This is how I anticipate you'll be feeling after our presentation. So we're excited to share the thoughts with you and with our community about what's happening. So it's been a great year. It's been a year of reconnecting, rebuilding as we welcome all the students back to a much more normal year in terms of operations. 1 month from tomorrow will be graduation at US Bank, and it's a chance to talk about our graduates and really what is our overall vision at the high school as we think about a profile of a graduate. And you can see on the screen, we focus on the fact we want all graduates to have a strong sense of well-being, empathy, respect for others, deep relationships, a strong sense of belonging, engage in learning that encompasses all strands of the instructional framework that the district has, work with an outside audience and a mentor in the area of passion in an authentic setting, experience higher level coursework, could be AP, IB, and beyond, areas of passion, one online course. I think last year we all met that goal. And then participate in clubs and activities, really with the idea of serving the greater good. So as the students walk across the stage, you get to see them. This is what we hope for, and this is what we plan for in our work as a profile of a graduate of the school. And today you have a chance to hear from some of our students as they touch on these different areas and their areas of specialty. The goals, that's a frame for tonight's presentation, are on the 3 building goals that have been consistent, yet we go deeper every year into the work. That strong sense of inclusion, and so tonight we'll give you a couple examples in each of the areas. Strong sense of inclusion and belonging in our school community that's grounded in respectful and caring relationships. That engagement piece in learning environments that promote curiosity, critical thinking, and lastly, just helping students find their passion. There is not a high school that I've found that has all the opportunities under one roof that allows students all to find their passion and each student to find their place. So tonight we'll talk about those 3 goals and share what's been happening in each of the areas. And this frankly is just a slice in each of these areas. So the first one is just that sense of inclusion and well-being, and just a highlight. I know we'll be back at the study session in June to do an update on our belonging work, but just the student voice piece. A few weeks ago we had our first cultural fair, which was exceptional, which was student-led. You see a photo of the group that was planning, some students, several hours on a Friday afternoon, students sharing their story, their experiences with others, and building that sense of connection and learning from each other. So we'll have more related to that coming up in June. That voice piece is critical of how we have student voice. The example I gave you is just one. This year we relaunched our student innovation team to bring that back using technology and software to help students bring their voice. Just a quick snapshot, we had 328 ideas that were submitted during the month of December, 135 unique ideas. You can see some of the themes that came forward from students: traffic, building facilities, school culture, climate, well-being, academics, food service. So those were the themes that came from that. And this is really student action, student research to figure out how do we continue to improve as a school, and their voice was what was driving that work. So we used a software tool for students to be able to vote and share their ideas, and so we had, you can see 14,000 views of the different ideas, students logging into the software on their iPad, seeing all the different ideas about how to improve MHS through that process. Students had a chance to vote on what ideas they thought we should bring forward and those specific themes. You can see the themes are more detailed, simply talking about school culture, traffic, food service, building facilities, and all the different topics that students thought specific ideas of how they could improve what's happening. So they've been working this past semester. They've met with different leaders in the district. They'll meet with me and a small team on the 26th to figure out what ideas we can move forward next year. So this is a key way how to access voice for all students and feel they can share their ideas. And then really our overall feeling of how do we have a bias toward action. Another area of focus on that student belonging and connection is with our Tonka Prep program. And we talked about that in January. I have Assistant Principal Jennifer Smazel, who's going to share some of the work in our new program of Tonka Prep under our first goal.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, Dr. Peterson. So that picture up there, I think, captures how we're feeling about Tonka Prep thus far. So this is our early college prep program. I know we introduced it, like Mr. Erickson said, back in January. And it's really designed to teach students those necessary skills to prepare for college and beyond. Our goal is to give them those proven strategies to get students to value learning, improve their grades, break down barriers, maintain high standards for themselves, and really build connections with the community. All right, so the area of focus, and this happens weekly as well as daily for our students, is really to develop those academic skills. So we have several different types of academic interventions. Our academic and support coordinator, Reno Gurley, meets with students often. He works with them to build character. He works with them to help them organize their assignments. He works with them on just organizing a month at a glance. He has one-on-one sessions with them as well as meeting with them whole group. He started something recently called May Days, and really he was noticing that this time of year kids get a little squirrely, right? And it's hard to focus, and he realized that assignments weren't getting turned in on time. Like we had anticipated. So he developed what's called May Days. And May Days is an opportunity every Tuesday and Thursday for students just to sit in a space, have a facilitator, and just really get their work done and submitted so they can stay on track. Also, we developed this idea that, well, we have asynchronous days. These students do better, they suggested, working in the building, so we've brought the students in the building during those days that other students happen to be at home, so they can just have that school setting to work in, and they felt more accomplished on those days. So all the students in that group had the opportunity of taking the Strengths Finder survey. So a member of the community worked with Tonka Prep, and they all took this assessment, and then they broke down their own individual profiles of their leadership skills. And the cool part of this Strength Finder assessment was they had never, many students said, I just never thought of myself that way. And now they can articulate, who they are as a leader. And so their assignment from the Strength Finders test was to develop that elevator pitch to use at colleges, with employers, with teachers, and then tips on really how to maximize that strength. So really good positive feedback around the Strengths Finders assessment. We also have had many inspirational speakers. As you can see, we have Khalid El-Amin. His message to the students was, it's okay to be different. Align yourself with those like-minded people who aspire to accomplish the same goals you have and learn how to bounce back. So breaking down those barriers, talking to the students about how to be resilient. We had Senator Bobby Joe Champion, don't let others or circumstances define you who you are. That was the message to the student. As well as Minnetonka grad, Rashad Cohen, spoke to students most recently about really how to have healthy dialogue and spread this love over hate. The cool part of all these interactions is not only did they develop connections, some of these leaders reached out to the students to become mentors for some of our students moving forward. Our students have been able to take some college visits, And these are the 3 most recent visits. They visited Dinwiddie, Minnesota State Mankato, and Rochester Community College. Some of the students had shared that they had never, actually most, had never stepped on a college campus before. So this was their first experience with just seeing and feeling that environment of a college campus. And from that visit, as well as lots of conversations and work with the students between the counselors and Mr. Gurley, our 9 seniors, you'll see there on the screen that are our Tonka prep kids, have made decisions. And 3 have been accepted into Normandale. 1 is National Guard and Normandale. 1 student at Northern State University, MCTC, SCSU. 1 has developed a partnership with somebody in home renovations, and he'll be a home renovator. And lastly, a student that got accepted into Paul Quinn College. So we're super excited about what's happened thus far. We have decided Reno is been moved to a position where he'll oversee 1 more hire for next year where we will expand the Tonka Prep program. So we're super excited about that. Thanks.
Awesome, thank you. So the second piece on our updates related to goals is simply that authentic learning, and it happens every day in the classroom, and really working for an outside audience, outside mentor, so you look at the areas of a profile of a graduate. So tonight, we're going to showcase some of the work that's happening within the VANTAGE program. And so I'm going to have the 3 students, Anna, Brock, and Hope, come forward and share some of the work that they've done. Just if you note on the strands, and just for our viewing on us at 5 o'clock, we're just over next door getting ready to start the new building. New strand next year will be VANTAGE Education. So it's been a success, but tonight we're going to focus on one of our new strands, and I'm going to turn over to our students.
Good evening, Dr. Peterson, Mr. Chair, and members of the board. Thank you for inviting us to be here today. As you probably know, VANTAGE had a new strand this year, and that was public policy. Myself, Hope, and Anna are 3 students who took the strand, and we all really enjoyed it. So I'm Brock, I'm a junior.
I'm Anna Roberts, I'm a senior.
I'm Hope Derberger, and I'm a junior.
Yeah, so on one side of the screen, you can see a list of the guest instructors we've been super fortunate to have this year, either in person or virtual. And then this image on the left is a picture of our class with Senator Amy Klobuchar. She was super kind to record a video of herself talking about her time as senator and some of her proudest achievements, and then she also told us a little bit about her first time in policy, which was actually as a student government leader, and it was very interesting to hear about.
What I really enjoyed is VANTAGE brought in not only the Republican State Senator Mark Horan, but DFL State Senator Steve Kwasinski. So it opened up the opportunity to see both sides, and especially through Steve Kwasinski, I loved the energy that he brought to policy.
My favorite guest instructor was Pierre Lemire. He's the director of global trade compliance at 3M, and he has a daughter in the district. I actually had a hand in bringing him in. I asked Mr. Andre and Mrs. Bem for a guest instructor that focused more on foreign policy. We had a lot of domestic policy guest instructors, but for the area I was interested in, I really wanted somebody interested in foreign policy, and they delivered quite quickly. They got Pierre Lemire to come in, and he talked to us about sanctions and the Russia-Ukraine crisis, and my entire class was fascinated by him, and he taught us so much, and really taught us an aspect of policy that so far we've been lacking.
Yeah, so some site visits that we've been super fortunate to go on. You can see a picture of us at the Minnetonka City Hall, where we got to listen to Councilwoman Kizzy Coakley, and she told us a little bit about her experience on the Minnetonka Board Council. You can see a picture of us at the fire station. We got the opportunity either to tour the brand new fire station or the police station. I got to see the fire station. It was super fun because it was brand new, so we got to see all the renovations. They got to show it off a little bit. They were super excited. Got to see the fire trucks. It was really cool.
We also went to the District Service Center. In our College and Schools American Democracy in a Changing World class, our political science class, we had been learning about free speech, specifically free speech as it relates to students in schools. And we had poured over various Supreme Court cases relating to student speech, and then we looked at some district policies that you guys have relating to speech in schools. And after looking over these policies, we were able to find areas that needed clarification or overall just better statements to avoid potential legal issues. And then we came here and presented on these issues to Mr. Vitale, Administrator Sawyer, and Mr. Andre.
And what I'm really excited for is May 17th, our VANTAGE group is going up to the state capitol to take a tour. And I'm also very excited to speak again with Kelly Morrison, which I was able to talk to previously because VANTAGE opened that door for me.
So one major part of VANTAGE, as you probably know, is projects. And public policy had no shortage of projects this year. Listed on the screen is all the projects we've had, and that photo is of the group Western Resource Advocates. Their job was working with local leaders to help renovate a barn in a local park nearby. And that project has been so successful that they've carried it into the second semester. My favorite project was the Minneapolis Parks and Rec Board project, which was my first semester project. The Minneapolis Parks and Rec Board had been working with the contractor, Tyler Peterson, to develop a plan for changes to the Hiawatha Golf Course in Minneapolis. Now, this plan had come up for a vote before the board twice, and both times it failed. So he was looking for a student team to come in and reassess the political viability of the plan, and also put together a plan for advocacy going forward regarding the plan. And so my group didn't just do the typical VANTAGE things of doing secondary research and sending out surveys to our VANTAGE database, but we actually drove down to the surrounding neighborhoods near the golf course and put up QR codes to a survey. And this survey was designed to just test people's knowledge of the plan, of the golf course, their usage of the golf course, just overall knowledge that would be very valuable to our sponsor to get an advocacy plan moving forward. We then presented those results and findings to our project sponsor, and he was thrilled.
What I would like to touch on is first semester, it was an original VANTAGE project, which meant that we were given the charter and organization to solve the problem. But what was really unique is through second semester, we were able to create our own charter and find our own organization and solve the problem from there.
Yeah, so my group is working with Foster Advocates, which is a local NGO in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they are working to support foster care bills. So right now they're working to pass Maya's Law, which essentially makes it a rule that when young children are being interviewed about abuse, it's done so in a room separate from their guardian. This is really important because about 75% of abuse that happens to children is done by a guardian. So when we reached out to Foster Advocates, they had already made it through the House of Representatives. Right now they're working in the Senate, so we get to help out a little bit with that. And right now we're writing a press release for them, which is a super cool opportunity to be really involved in policy and making a difference right now.
I would like to touch on the CIS course through the University of Minnesota. This is the first time Minnetonka has introduced the College in the Schools course. What it is all of the students within my class are eligible for a University of Minnesota transcript with 4 credits.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, back up in for questions. And so if there's any doubt about the future and how bright it is, just having this presentation then clarifies the tremendous students we have. And we have one more student who will be with me in just a moment. So our third goal, and I normally have the slide of the School of Opportunities earlier in my presentation, but all the different things that we have going on within school. And I hope as every student finds their passion. So for the registration process, for the parents know the fact that starts in January and it goes all the way to early March. It's a lengthy process to really showcase all the opportunities. Because our goal is, in that process, is students finding their passion, trying the different courses that we have, making sure they know of all the opportunities. So we have a continual goal of how to increase opportunities for students, and Director Andre of the VANTAGE program and his team worked, and I have great fortune of Julius Nurse behind me who's going to share the work they've done specific to VANTAGE and enrollment.
Good evening, Dr. Peterson, Mr. Chair, and members of the board. Thank you for the invitation for being here tonight. My name is Julius Nurse, and I'm here representing the Minnetonka VANTAGE Diversity Task Force. Me and a group of 5 students have been able to increase enrollment for, So, as you can see from the left, there's Josiah Hawley, me, Elias Grant, Katrina Tadros, and Olivia Hernandez. Historically, Black, Hispanic, and Native American students have been underrepresented at VANTAGE. Currently, there's about 4% enrollment of these students at VANTAGE. This is significantly different from the high school, which is about 10% of these students. Our goal is to increase enrollment with these students and make it more representative of the high school. We analyzed why enrollment was low and looked at how we can create an outreach plan to increase enrollment. We did this by presenting to MHS Women of Color and Men of Color in a presentation format where we shared our experience at Vantage and made it more approachable. Through this, we were able to increase enrollment at Vantage 133%. The actual increase for these students increased from 18 to 42. This year, 4.5% of Vantage students are Hispanic, Native American, or Black. Next year, over 8% are from these groups. This is much closer to the distribution seen at the high school, but even though we have some work left to do, we are much closer to reaching our goal. Thank you.
Thank you, Julius, and thanks to the team for their work and really increasing our enrollment, and you can see the tremendous results of their outreach. And really the overall focus in the work is student voice, students sharing their experiences. I got to see some of the presentations, and work was exceptional in the results you see and how the program moves ahead. And that is, as I bring to a close, our focus is all the opportunities that we have. There are other areas where we saw increases, the work that we have for students to take advantage of the programs. I talk about our formulas, you look at our 3 goals. We have that strong sense of belonging, plus an amazing academic experience, and the result are students who are curious, respectful, kind, involved in the work that we're doing. And it's not an or, it's an and. All these pieces are critical to the student's success. And so we continue to look at all the opportunities. Sometimes as I talk with parents who are elementary and middle, they might not know all the things that await at the high school. And it's mind-boggling, all the graphics that we have and the programs we've added. And the thing of it is, I can't tell you in 2 years what will be in the Skipper log. Because things are still in development right now of what's going to happen at the new space. So we're constantly about saying what's next. Which goes back to the idea of maximizing your high school experience. When we went to George Washington University to look at the research program there, the professor talked about students working for an outside audience, and a mentor, and a real-world project. That those are the keys to get to high levels of engagement. So it is about maximizing the experience that we have, creating awesome opportunities, and constantly working at our culture. The excellence area that we look at this year, we still have several things happening at the high school. 10th graders have an opportunity to hear from Ben Cohen. Ben Cohen's grandmother was a survivor of the Holocaust, and he'll be talking with 10th grade students. His mother was actually here in 2020, but had since passed, and has an amazing presentation telling the story. Juniors have the chance to hear from Dr. Michael Berenbaum, and he's coming back, and we've got him slated for next Friday. And so all juniors have the opportunity to hear his message. Once he gets a sense of who this man is and his connections, and being an advisor to Steven Spielberg on Schindler's List and other areas, they're pretty much in awe. And looking ahead to next year, this summer in June, we'll look at all the Search Institute data work. We did a major process with staff through HumanX to look at staff, culture, and climate. And then again, what student voices do we have to continue to improve what the experience is at Minnetonka High School? The goal is that all students find their place at the high school. This is a photo we were happy to finally do in the Commons. About 2 weeks ago, it's been a 2-year hiatus. We had senior day to celebrate the amazing class of 2022. And as I said, in 1 month, for tomorrow, we'll be ready to shake their hands and congratulate them on their success. So with that, I will conclude and bring the students or anyone for questions that you might have. Thank you.
Thank you, Principal Erickson. Any questions or comments from the board? Lisa?
I have a question for both of the 2 student groups. I'm sure you guys learned a lot in all of your analysis, and I'm wondering if you can tell us what surprised you the most about the work that you did.
All right, I guess I'll take that one. So what surprised me the most about all the work I did was that the professional world isn't perfect. I've always had this idea in my mind that once you get into the professional world, once you get into that area, that people put on such a perfect face, and it seems so perfect and so polished, but working with my project sponsor for my VANTAGE project, specifically one related to policy, showed me that people in the professional world are human too, and once you transition from being a student into a professional, you're still a flawed person. And so showing me that, I guess, humanized the professional world for me and allowed me to be more confident in professional endeavors.
Yeah, another thing that I would say was not rather surprising, but I was happy about, was seeing how interested students were about Vantage when we were promoting it. In the forum, we gave a presentation, obviously we explained our experiences, we talked about company projects, and afterwards we had a lot of students coming up asking us about our experience, asking about company projects, just to see like what they liked about it and if it was right for them and what strand that they would be interested in.
And what I found really interesting is how this implements into the real world. And just everyday knowledge, the stuff that we're learning right now in CIS is so pertinent to what's happening in the real world and how I can use that knowledge in all the ways, even as simple as talking to my family.
Yeah, I agree with that. I came into the public policy strand being interested in the real world and wanting to learn more, but really not knowing a lot. And so it was really cool just to have all these guest instructors come in and tell us about their little aspect of policy. And then, yeah, to branch off of Brooke Hope, with the CIS stuff. It's just so interesting what we're learning. And even this week we were having group discussions and it related to all of the new things that are coming out. And it's just very interesting to have such education that's so important to right now and really feeling like I have a voice and I know what's going on in my own country.
Great, thank you very much.
John?
Yeah, just a comment. I mean, so thankful for you guys coming and presenting. It's so encouraging. I mean, I think we can go through and just create great programs and that kind of thing, but to see you guys take advantage of it, I mean, makes us proud to kind of be on your team, makes us proud to see you guys taking advantage of those kind of things. We're just so excited to see your future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Patrick?
Yeah, I just want to thank you all for coming here and telling us about your programs. It's obviously really important to all of us, public service, and to see you engage with that at high school level is fantastic. So thank you.
Anybody else? I'll just add to that and say thank you. I really appreciate you guys coming and presenting tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, great job.
Now we've reached the time for community comments. Community comments is an opportunity for the public to address the school board on an item included in this agenda in accordance with the guidelines printed on reserve. Do we have anyone? All right. Next up, our next agenda item is approval of fees for fiscal year 23. Dr. Peterson.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, you reviewed the proposed fees at the last study session. You heard them reviewed again at the hearing that was held moments ago. And so we're recommending that you adopt the fees that are presented. Mr. Bourgeois is available to answer any questions.
Great. Can I have a motion to approve the recommended fees for fiscal year 2023 as presented?
So moved.
Lisa, second.
Second.
Katie, comments or questions? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is our preview of Celebration of Excellence. Dr. Peterson.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, as you know, next Thursday will be the Celebration of Excellence, so we hope all of you can attend that. It's going to be fun to be back live with all of it at the high school auditorium. And Jackie Getty gives us a preview of that celebration each year before we get to it, so kind of build up our anticipation. So Dr. Getty.
Thank you, Dr. Peterson, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I'm excited to be here tonight to present a preview of the 2022 Celebration of Excellence. It's one of my favorite events of the year, where we're able to celebrate the teachers, the employees, and the volunteers that really make our district sing. The public is invited to join us live this year, as Dr. Peterson said, which is really exciting. We hope to pack it and have it filled to the brim. We can seat 680 people, and we'd like every seat filled. We have a reception starting at 6:30 at the Art Center on 7, and then right after that, the program starts at 7 o'clock, and that is Thursday, May 12th. So we're inviting everyone there. For those who can't make it, we will have it live streamed as well, so we'll send a link out to all families, and we'll post that on the website. And in addition to the years of service that we recognize, 20 years and over, and teacher and employee awards, we also have some special awards, the Bradley G. Board Award for Excellence in Elementary Education, the Joyce Gustafson Memorial Award, and new this year is the Judy Erdahl Memorial Award. We also have Gold Partner Awards for the outstanding contributors to the district's VANTAGE program, the program you just heard a lot about. And also new this year, we're adding Gold Partner Awards for key contributors to the district's Momentum program. So the event concludes each year with us selecting, with the selection of an elementary teacher and also a secondary teacher who will be the district's nominees for the 2023 Minnesota Teacher of the Year program. So we're excited about that as well. So tonight we have a short preview video. Andy Smith, who's our district videographer, goes into classrooms and records teachers, records the community volunteers and their work and the employees and their work, and then talks to the nominators. So he's put together a little preview of what you'll see that evening. So Andy, we'd love to see that.
She's done a great job, and that makes me feel special. It makes me feel like, you know, she notices my son.
She really values us as part of her life.
They feel comfortable to make mistakes in his classroom, to push themselves, and they're able to achieve so much more because of her.
She has been like a gift to him and to our family. She goes so above and beyond.
I think of her as a person who's thinking about the whole student. She's all in. You know?
Honestly, we feel like we hit the teacher jackpot.
She takes the time to really understand what they need and make a difference in their life.
She always smiled a lot, which I really like because I also smile a lot. It really made me feel like she cared about me.
She's a master at meeting every student where they're at and ensuring each of them has access to learning.
He does know my son. I really drew him into reading more and got him excited about it.
Every time I needed help, she was always there to help. Even if I just needed, someone to talk to, she was always there.
When they're frustrated, when they're struggling, he doesn't want them to give up.
She makes sure that it's more about him not meeting some curricula or meeting some standard. It's about what is best, how can we get him to that next level.
So again, all are invited, and we're really excited to see everyone there. So I hope you can all make it.
Thank you. Any questions for Dr. Getty? Thank you.
Thanks.
Our next agenda item is approval of Tonka online courses. Dr. Peterson.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, we reviewed these courses for you at the last study session, and we're prepared to answer any questions you have about them tonight. Dr. Ledoux is here, so I would recommend that you adopt these courses for Tonka Online. They're all courses that we already have in the bricks and mortar program.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve the Tonka online course proposals?
So moved.
Katie, second?
Second.
John? Questions or discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next up is our carry-on action, which is approval of bid for Vantage Momentum Building Construction. Dr. Peterson.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, this is a project that's taken a lot of time over the last couple of years to move to this point where we're ready to act on bids. As you know, we had the groundbreaking earlier today, and that was successful. Had a lot of great interest in it, and a lot of dignitaries attended, including all of you. And Paul Bourgeois is going to walk you through the project and the bidding and so forth, and Dave Maroney is here also to help address some of the questions you might have. We're anticipating that this may take some of your discussion tonight. So, Paul, would you like to start?
Thank you, Dr. Peterson. Mr. Chair, members of the board, we had very good participation in our bidding for the Vantage Momentum Building. as you can see, we had 8 very reputable firms, large firms, who do a lot of work in the area. And unfortunately, we were a little bit surprised with our low bid. Our low bid was actually above the estimate. We had a low bid from Morcon Construction of $15,555,083. So we, if you look at all the bids though, it's clear that the market has moved with inflation, construction inflation. We had a meeting with Morcon Construction yesterday, and Dave Maroney is here to fill in any gaps that I might not remember properly or to add to what I would have to say. But Sean Olson is the project bidder. He bids projects for Morcon, and he's actually done a lot of projects for us over the past several years, or the last 15 years. And he said he's very, very much looking forward to working for our district. But what he was telling us is that on the projects he's bidding, he's seeing literally weekly increases in the price of concrete, in the price of steel, in the price of wood. And so what's happening is we looked went back and looked at inflation data, and it seems like construction inflation is actually accelerating. In your board item, I put a table in that I got from Dave Maroney, helped me with providing me with the information. He actually has a database going back 44 years. But just for the last 24 months, well actually 28 months, you can see that if you look at the rate of inflation compared to the prior 12 years, it was pretty steady until about November of 2020, and then it jumped from 2.5% to 3.8%, which is actually about a 50% increase in the rate. And you can see that the inflation has been accelerating. When we actually estimated our project back in the summer, we actually put a 14% inflation factor in there. But this actually, on the construction part of it, but this actually exceeds that. So we have we need to look at the overall project and really put together some further information about what the environment is like out there right now, to see if these are good bids and this is the best we're going to get, or or should we not accept this bid and look at rebidding or modifying. We do have some arrows in the quiver if the choice is to try to move ahead at some, but we need to really look at that before we would make that decision. We have to really be deliberative about it because we're talking about significant dollars. So as a result of that, we're suggesting it might be the best course of action. We want to make sure we do the right thing, but we want to make sure we look at everything, and that you have all the information you need to make what you determine is the best direction for the district. So we're suggesting it might be the wise thing to do, I guess, to table this and let us put together some information for you to be able to digest, so to speak. That we can put that together for you and be able to go through all the various factors and permutations at the next study session to give you the best database available yourselves to make whatever decision you decide to make.
And we can schedule a special meeting in case you decide to take some action that night.
Okay.
Yes.
Can we take questions? Yes.
No, I was just going to move to table.
Okay, perfect.
Second.
So we have a motion to table this item, and it's been seconded. I believe no comments or questions, so we will vote on it. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We will move this to the study session.
Okay, we're already working on a lot of stuff.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you. That is the same. Our next agenda item is approval of long-term facilities maintenance plan. Dr. Peterson.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, this is also another item that you've reviewed with Mr. Bourgeois in the past, and he's going to give you a brief presentation on it, and then we'd like to have you adopt this plan. As you know, there's also a step with the state that has to be adopted probably in late June, probably late June. So, Mr. Bourgeois.
Thank you, Dr. Pearson. Mr. Mr. Chair, members of the board, I'm going to quickly go through the PowerPoint, short PowerPoint that we looked at the study session for the benefit of the public, because we are in this long-term maintenance plan proposing to spend approximately $73,510,000 over 10 years to maintain our approximately $800 million worth of school buildings and keep them ready for the future. So I'll just run through this very quickly, though. This is a chart showing what decade our school buildings were constructed in, and we have about 78% of our buildings is 25 years old or older, and we kind of know with our own houses how you have to keep putting money in as you kind of get into those 20 years of use of your own house. The same for our buildings. And then we actually have 25%, I say they're eligible for Medicare. They're 65 years of use or older. So we have a significant amount of our square footage. It's all in good shape, but we need to keep steadily putting some dollars into it every year. And so we're proposing to put approximately $4 a year per square foot into these buildings to keep them in a state of good repair and maximize our predecessor taxpayers and administration's work to build these buildings and to basically continue paying it forward for future generations. We've had a long-term facilities maintenance process and program since 2004, and when we were able to start that, that was started prior to my time, but Dr. Peterson was here and got that started, and we basically were chipping away for a number of years with catching up on deferred maintenance, and we've pretty much run the gamut of replacing things that needed to be replaced that were deferred maintenance to kind of get up to the level of current maintenance. And so we're hopefully, for the most part, trying to do stay current with our long-term maintenance. But we've had some challenges with roofing materials over the last couple of years because the polar vortex down in Texas ended up sucking away all the insulation in the country for about 2 years while they basically armored up their electric grid infrastructure. And so we had a lot of roofing projects that were unable to be accomplished over the last 2 summers because we didn't have a supply of roofing insulation. So we are going to be catching up over the next couple of years. We're not way behind, but we're a little bit behind, and we'll catch up. But we try to replace our roofs a couple of years before the warranty wears out, so we're not to the point where, oh my God, they're all starting to leak like crazy. So we're still in okay shape, but we want to basically get back onto that schedule. And the market the good thing is the market for roof insulation is coming around. This is just a quick slide showing we had sort of eras of levels of spending, and depending on what we were doing at the time, we had it's kind of ebbed and flowed as we caught up. We're proposing for fiscal 2020 through 2032 to average up just under $7 million a year. But there's some years that are higher than that, as you see in the plan. Again, at current building prices, and actually I need to update this now based on the bid price on Tuesday to $483 a square foot, but which would put us closer to $900 million at current construction costs. We have this is our history of how we've expended dollars since the start of the program and what we're proposing to expend for the next 10 years. This is our overall long-term debt for the district, which includes long-term facility maintenance, but also the additions and any capacity things that we've done like parking lots and all that. And so we actually have a little bit of a bump up in our overall long-term debt, but even with this issuing of bonds over the next 10 years, our long-term debt will still continue to decline unless for some reason we'd run a referendum for buildings, for auditoriums or something like that. But bottom line is our long-term debt will continue to decline long-term. So quickly, right now, for summer 22, which was actually in last year's 10-year plan, we actually have about $6,245,000 in progress. You can see, I'm not going to read the list, but a lot of HVAC, a lot of cabinets from the 1960s are going to be replaced, and a couple of unique ones. We have to replace a 1952 water supply pipe in the high school that's galvanized and it's starting to let go, so we're replacing that after, was it 70 years? And then also we have an underground fuel tank that needs replacement. In fiscal 24, which would be summer of 2023, in addition to annual roofing and paving, I'm gonna sound a little bit like Groundhog Day on each of these slides. It's a lot of univents, windows, nuts and bolts things, a lot of cabinets, And then replacing HVAC, particularly the ones that are running with R22 refrigerant, because you can no longer get any new R22 refrigerant. So those things need to be replaced before they would break down in the middle of a heat wave while school's in session, and we wouldn't be able to get them going again because we wouldn't be able to replenish their R22. So every district in the state is having that issue. Actually, anybody who has an R22 air conditioner is going to, in any building in the state, is going to have that same situation. Fiscal 25, we're looking at about $8 million. A big chunk of roofing, paving, according to our plan. Again, window replacements, univents, HVAC, synthetic turf replacement of the JV baseball infield at that time. We also need to replace the water loop system at the Highway 7 Education Center. That's actually TSP, but we couldn't call it TSP when we bought it and registered it with the state, so that's the official name on the state database. Roofing and paving for fiscal 26, significant dollars again, and then again, much the same thing. We are going to be doing some switchgear replacement for the main switches at MME and MMW. They have to be replaced after, what will be a little over 60 years worth of use. We also will be looking at that time to replace the upper field, which is the varsity boys play on. At that point in time, we'll have had 13 years of use on that synthetic turf, so we'll look at replacing that. Fiscal 27, we have a lot of windows and HVAC all around. There's actually 225 classrooms that do not have HVAC in the elementary level, and about 125 at the high school level. I'm sorry, at the high school is totally air conditioned, at the middle school level. And so we're going to be working our way through that, and it's $40,000 to $50,000 room to replace the vertical unit ventilators. Fiscal 28, about $8.5 million. A significant chunk of the money budgeted in paving is actually to replace the 2006 track after 22 years of use. If it's in good shape, we could push this back further. But one of the things is periodically with the asphalt base and with Minnesota with the frost heave cycle, we're going to have to do it at some point in time. We think we're going to be okay till then and maybe further, but we've got it in the plan in case we need to do it. More R22 and window replacements from the 1996 bond issue, which is the last bond issue we actually ran. Then in fiscal 29, we dropped down a little bit to $7 million. We have actually scheduled the replacement of that big cooling tower over the cafeteria at the high school. That actually handles that's the cooling tower for the whole 1996 edition. That thing will have coming up about 33 years worth of use by then, and we'll basically pop a big one off top and put another one back on. And then also we are looking at getting close to the lifespan, and this would be after 30 years, almost 30 years of use for the Pagel ice chiller system. We have R22 there, but one of the things we did in 2020 before you couldn't get, 2019 before you could not get any more R22 is we actually stockpiled a bunch of R22 so that we could continue to use the Pagel ice system through its full service life. So we actually have a stockpile of R22 for the hockey rink, which if you have to do maintenance on it, you need a lot of it. But we have that actually in a locked fenced area at our main vendor who does our servicing of our ice system. And they, so we have enough that we think to actually make it to fiscal year 29 before we have to replace it. So, but we did some stockpiling ahead of time. The interesting thing about it is the value of that just keeps going up as it gets more scarce. So if we replace it, we still have some left over, we might be able to cash in some chips at that time. And then fiscal 30, a lot of roofing, and this is the dome actually. We'll be able to replace the dome at that time, so that's the biggest chunk right there of the whole process. And then we're starting to look at replacing some windows. There's some windows actually on the upper floor of the 1952 section of the high school that are, it looks like they were replaced once, like maybe in the 70s, so they're getting to be 50 years old, but by the time we get to fiscal 30, we need to go back and replace those. And we're also looking at updating some of the stucco around Scenic Heights. Stucco doesn't quite last as long as brick, but it lasts a long time. And then fiscal 31, more stucco replacement, univent replacement, high school windows, and similar things in fiscal 32. So that's the current plan. And of course, there's always things you try to lock everything in, but it's kind of like predicting the weather. You think you got everything, but it's really, sometimes stuff doesn't last as long as you think. And sometimes other things crop up. It's like, we need to add this on, or this parking lot needs to be moved up because we had a bad winter. So, that's why they have us, and it's a good idea, but that's why they have us renew the plan every year, because you're always going to make adjustments for it. But this is our best guesstimate of what we're going to be doing for the next 10 years. And of course, the closer years are the most accurate. So we'd ask that you'd approve this, and then the state comes out with a, with a form that is actually not as much detail as the one that we've given to you. We want you to see what we're doing. And then the state requires it just in big chunks of roofing, HVAC, paving, just like big chunks. And then Dr. Peterson has to sign a statement of assurance saying that's what we're actually going to be doing. And they require that in order for us to be able to have our bonds issued. And they typically don't come out with those forms until like the beginning of June. And so we probably will have to try to have you approve that in June sometime, which is all the same dollar amounts, the same totals per year, but a different format. So thank you very much, and I would be glad to answer any questions if you have any. And thank you for approving this if you think it's the right thing to do. Thank you.
Can I have a motion to approve the 10-year long-term facilities maintenance plan for fiscal year 2023 through fiscal year 2032?
So moved.
Patrick, second?
Second.
Katie, questions or discussion? Lisa?
Just a comment. Thanks again, Paul, for putting all this together. I know, I remember back in the time when I was on the Citizens Finance Advisory Council before I was on the board, and, we talked a lot about the importance of keeping this plan and having a, measured progress towards keeping our buildings up to date. So thanks for walking us through that. I know it seems like it's not, it's just a really critical thing to stay on top of. So, and it's much easier to do, just like you do at your house, right? To take it little bits at a time versus all, waiting until something fails. So I appreciate you keeping us well informed and keeping your eye on all of that stuff. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, we appreciate your wisdom in this, and almost like a Nostradamus being able to predict what's going to happen with all these kind of resources and such. The refrigerant is just genius. We're going to cash in on that, and I just love you inside that.
We're kind of the same. Just doing what I can. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Anybody else? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Bourgeois. Our next item is the approval of Policy 705, Investment of District Funds. Dr. Peterson.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, we've reviewed this with you at the previous study session as well, and so this will be the second reading of this policy change. As you know, it's just a relatively small change in words, but it adds a nice feature to that policy for investing funds. So, Mr. Bourgeois.
Thank you, Dr. Pearson. Mr. Chair, members of the board, this is one area that I'm just suggesting that we would add something called a guaranteed investment contract to what we're able to invest in as a school district. And this is something that if we ever do a bond issue in the future, or a future board does a bond issue and they have to do a $50 million bond or whatever, they'll get a pile of money at one time. And if there's a thing where if you're going to spend it over a couple of years, you actually can rent that money to somebody else at a higher interest rate and make additional money on it in something called a guaranteed investment contract. And that actually then allows you to use those dollars for whatever project you're doing. And so it's a tool that you kind of have in your quiver if you have this included in your policy. The other thing is depending on where interest rates are going, if we continue to have a solid cash balance, we might even be able to do something related to a certain chunk of our just general cash and being able to invest it out a little bit further in a guaranteed investment contract. It's something that's allowed by Minnesota statutes. I've actually done these in other districts when we did big construction projects and were able to get some significant additional dollars. I would imagine, Dr. Pearson, you probably have done them in districts where you were doing some construction. And so it's a common thing, and it's just an arrow in the quiver for a future time that it might be needed or might be useful to have.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Bourgeois. Can I have a motion to approve Policy 705, Investment of District Funds as presented?
So moved.
Megan? Second? Katie?
Second.
Questions, comments, or discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next agenda item is authorization of sale of 2022B general obligation long-term facilities maintenance bonds. Dr. Peterson.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, we're asking for your authorization to sell the 2022B debt, and that'll help finance the long-term facilities projects coming up. So, Mr. Bourgeois, do you want to explain anything further?
Thank you, Dr. Peterson. Just one minor thing that we will, we're asking for authorization, but we won't sell until the actual Department of Education approves the 10-year plan, and then they'll provide us a letter saying that we can then issue the bonds also. So you have to authorize, and the Department of Ed has to approve the 10-year plan and send us that letter. But this allows us to just get all the legwork done ahead of time so that, because in a situation where it's rising interest rates, we probably want to sell as fast as we can once we get final authorization from the Department of Ed to try to lock in whatever the low rates are at that time.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve the authorization resolution as prepared by Dorsey and Whitney?
So moved.
Lisa, second?
Second.
John, I guess. Questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Paul. Next up is authorization of sale of 2022C refunding bonds. Dr. Peterson.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, again, we're asking for your authorization to sell the 2022C refunding bonds, which will be used for some of the projects. Paul, do you want to talk about that?
Thank you, Dr. Pearson. Mr. Chair, members of the board, if you recall, in calendar year 2021, we were thinking that interest rates might start heading up, and so we were furiously refunding. We refunded 15 different bond issues to lock in low rates. So that, you know, I mean, in some respects, like, we sort of rolled Yahtzee on that because we actually called it right. We have 7 more bonds that actually are available to coming up to their call date on February 1st of 2023. We've evaluated all 7, but in this rising interest rate environment, only 1 actually hits the green, so to speak. But that is our 2013 H bonds, and those are actually a shorter duration, so the interest rate is lower, but we have an estimate of future interest rates built in, and we can actually sell these at estimated 2.15%, and it'll result in about $57,000 worth of net present value savings. You know, we've actually done, over the years, we've done 47 different refunding bonds, and for about $25.6 million worth of savings. And we keep trying, you know, we're going to keep trying, and the ones that we looked at and they haven't hit green yet, we're going to keep looking at them to see if, you know, if they'll work. They don't at this time, but again, we have this one, so we'd like your okay to move ahead with refunding these and trying to get whatever savings we can out of them.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve the 2022C authorization resolution as prepared by Dorsey and Whitney?
So moved.
Patrick, second?
Second.
Katie? Questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Just thank you from me to you and your team and the board for keeping an eye on this and always bringing this to the forefront. We really appreciate it.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you.
Can I have a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
So moved.
Lisa, second?
Second.
Megan? All in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Board reports. Anybody have a report? Lisa?
On behalf of the Superintendent Search Subcommittee, I am pleased to report that we have concluded our contract negotiations favorably with Mr. David Law. And his contract has just moments ago been approved by the board. And so that concludes our search process. And we have successfully secured a superintendent, and Mr. Law has given his notice to Anoka Hennepin. So he will be starting with us officially on July 1st of 2022. So welcome, David Law.
Thank you, Lisa and Katie and John, members of our search subcommittee, for all the work and helping and making this happen. Anybody else? Superintendent's report. Dr. Pearson.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, this is the time of year when we have a lot of recognitions and so forth, and so hopefully you feel that you're welcome at all of those, and I hope that you can make some of them. We have the Celebration of Excellence, of course, next Thursday, and then on the 24th, we have the retirement event, which is always a fun event. I think it starts at, Jackie, 4 o'clock? On the 24th. So we recognize the people who are retiring and have a little time to socialize before that event, and that'll be at PK Travel. And then, of course, we have the end-of-year event with teachers and our staff in general, mostly teachers, where we've had breakfast in the past. This year, our last day with students is the Friday, and so the last day with teachers is a Monday. So what we decided with the principals is that on Friday, of course, we'll have early dismissal, 2-hour early dismissal of students, and teachers can begin their checkout process that day. And principals will come in on Saturday, and they can finish their checkout on Saturday if they haven't done it on Friday. So we expect very few staff to actually be here on Monday the 13th. So what we're going to do is have a breakfast event at each school, or something on the afternoon, Friday afternoon, the 10th. So you'll be invited to all of those, and obviously it's going to be hard to catch all of them, but if you could maybe split up different ones that you could be at and have a board member or two at each one, I know staff would appreciate it. It's been a challenging year for everybody, including the school board, and it's time to celebrate together how it's gone, and it's been successful for our children. And then, of course, graduation on the 6th, which is was moved up from the 9th, and it'll be at US Bank Stadium. You'll enjoy every minute of that. It's a great event, and you'll get more details on practice and the event itself, where you park, all of that from Mr. Erickson. So he'll get those things out if he hasn't done that already. That's pretty much it.
Great. Any questions? Any announcements? I was going to say we just had our announcement.
Covered a few of those. Yeah,
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Lisa, second?
Second.
Katie? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you.